can we truly love without holding on too tightly? In a world that tells us to cling and possess, Buddhism offers a strikingly different view, a way to love deeply without attachment. Imagine being able to fully love someone without fear, anxiety, or the pain of needing them to validate your worth. What if true love, according to Buddhism, is less about holding on and more about setting free? In this video, we'll explore how to embrace love in its purest form, without the chains of attachment, but with compassion, freedom, and mindfulness. Get ready to uncover a profound teaching that might just redefine how you approach love and relationships. It's time to see what letting go really means and why it might be the greatest gift you can give to someone you care about. In the heart of Buddhist philosophy lies a concept that challenges the very essence of how we perceive love. True love, according to the teachings of the Buddha, is not the whirlwind romance we see in movies, nor the possessive, consuming passion many have come to know. Instead, it's a love rooted in freedom, compassion, and the complete absence of attachment. But what does this really mean? Imagine a love so profound that it asks for nothing in return. A love that's as giving as the sun that rises each day, expecting no praise or gratitude. It's a love that exists without chains or expectations, one that holds space for joy and peace, even if it means letting go. To grasp this fully, we must dive into the very essence of what Buddhists believe love should be. The stark truth is, most of what we call love today is entangled with desire, possessiveness, and a subtle yet powerful fear of loss. This, according to Buddhism, is not true love but attachment masquerading as love. Picture a young couple, their affection initially pure and joyful, but over time, insecurity creeps in. The need to possess, to control, becomes overwhelming, transforming love into a cage. Buddhism teaches that true love is different. It flourishes when it's detached from desire. It's the gentle hand that supports but does not grip, the presence that stays but does not suffocate. True love in Buddhism asks, can you wish for someone's happiness even if it does not involve you? This idea is where the real test of love begins, where the line between attachment and genuine love is drawn. Buddhist scriptures provide rich insights into what true love should embody. One of the most profound teachings comes from the Metta Sutta, which describes love as a state of boundless kindness and benevolence. The sutta speaks of a love so expansive that it envelops all beings as a mother would her only child, fierce and unconditional. It's love devoid of selfishness, a concept that, at first glance, seems almost impossible in a world driven by give and take. Another key teaching is found in the four immeasurables: loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. Each of these pillars builds a pathway toward love that seeks nothing, only to lift others up. But the path to achieving such love isn't easy. It's a road marked by deep self-examination and the constant battle to let go of the ego. The surprising twist: the more we release our grip on love, the stronger and purer it becomes. With these teachings in mind, the significance of true love in Buddhism comes into sharper focus. It's not about losing yourself in someone else. It's about finding peace within so that you can love without the shadows of fear and need. As we move forward, we'll explore how this seemingly paradoxical approach to love, one that requires letting go to hold on, can transform not just our relationships, but our entire way of being. Attachment, it's a word that sounds so innocent, even romantic. But in the teachings of Buddhism, attachment is more than just a bond. It's a trap, an invisible chain binding the soul to suffering. The core of Buddhist philosophy tells us that clinging to anything, be it a person, a desire, or an idea, inevitably leads to suffering. This isn't just a theoretical warning. It's woven into the fabric of the Four Noble Truths. Life is suffering, and suffering is born from desire and attachment. It's a cycle that traps us, leaving us desperate, longing for more, and terrified of loss. But why is this so? Because in attachment, love becomes conditional. We don't just love someone, we need them to be a certain way for our own comfort, validation, and happiness. The teachings of the Buddha make it clear, only by understanding this root cause can we start to unravel it. Here's where things take a turn. Not all connections are toxic. Not all bonds are chains. Buddhism doesn't teach us to avoid relationships or caring about others. It teaches us to differentiate between attachment and genuine connection. Picture this. Attachment clings, demanding something in return, suffocating the very love it claims to nurture. In contrast, a healthy connection breathes. It's free from expectations, built on mutual growth and support. It's love without the weight of dependency. This distinction is subtle yet profound. When we love with attachment, we focus on our needs, our fears, our insecurities. But when we love without attachment, we are present, supportive, and liberated from the constant fear of losing what we hold dear. This is not love watered down. It's love purified and elevated. The question becomes, how do we know the difference in our own lives? Take a moment and imagine two couples. The first couple appears perfect on the outside. They are inseparable, always together, posting smiling pictures on social media. But behind closed doors, their love is rooted in control, masked by affection. The fear of losing one another causes jealousy, arguments, and a relentless need for reassurance. Their love, though real, is held captive by the very attachment that binds them. Now, think of another couple, one where each person encourages the other's passions, accepts them as they are, and finds joy in their partner's happiness, even if it sometimes takes them apart. This couple understands that love doesn't mean possession. It means freedom, trust, and compassion. The first couple's bond, steeped in attachment, breeds fear and suffering. The second's connection, free from clinging, blossoms into something pure and resilient. This is the essence of loving without attachment. The ability to love deeply and wholly without the shadow of fear. We've all been conditioned to think that attachment is love's proof, that if we don't hold on tightly, we risk losing what we cherish. But what if the opposite were true? What if our greatest peace, our truest love, lay not in grasping, but in releasing? The shift from attachment to pure connection isn't just an abstract spiritual idea. It's the secret ingredient to lasting joy and genuine relationships. It's a choice that goes against everything we've been taught by society, a daring leap into trust and vulnerability. And here lies the revelation. Letting go doesn't mean loving less. It means loving more, but in a way that heals, not harms. As we move forward, we'll explore how we can begin to practice this in our own lives, not just in theory, but in tangible, transformative ways. Stay with me, because what comes next may just change the way you love forever. Imagine a love so deep that it transcends the bounds of personal need and longing, a love rooted in the pure wish for another's happiness. This is the type of love that Buddhism holds as an ideal, one that thrives on compassion. But compassion in this context isn't merely empathy. It's an active, transformative force. It's about understanding your partner's joys and sorrows as if they were your own, yet without succumbing to the pull of personal desire or selfish attachment. In Buddhism, compassion is not weakness, it's the ultimate strength, the unyielding thread that binds true love together without suffocating it. The story of Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha, offers a striking example. He left behind his royal life, not for his own freedom, but to seek a path that would lead to the liberation of all beings. This kind of boundless compassion, when applied to our personal relationships, lays the foundation for love that is pure and enduring. Picture this. You're in the middle of an argument, emotions flaring, words cutting deep. In that moment, how do you pause and see the situation as it truly is? Here lies the power of mindfulness. Buddhist teachings emphasize mindfulness as a practice of being present, fully aware of our thoughts, emotions, and surroundings without judgment. In relationships, mindfulness can transform moments of potential conflict into moments of profound understanding. It's in these pauses that we learn to listen deeply, not just to respond, but to truly comprehend what our partner is expressing. The legendary Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh spoke of mindful listening as a tool for healing and reconnection. Mindfulness helps us notice the subtleties, the silent expressions of need or pain in our loved ones that words alone may never reveal. It is this attunement that strengthens the fabric of our relationships, allowing love to flow unburdened by misconceptions or reactive emotions. But how does one cultivate this boundless compassion and mindfulness? Enter metta, or loving-kindness meditation. This practice has roots deep in the Pali Canon, where the Buddha instructed his disciples to spread metta as a way to develop an unshakable love for all beings. The process begins simply. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and focus on sending warmth to yourself, repeating phrases like, "May I be happy," "May I be safe," "May I be at peace." As you deepen the practice, extend these wishes to others, first to loved ones, then to neutral acquaintances, and finally, even to those you find difficult to love. The outcome is profound. By regularly practicing metta, you break the chains of conditional love and learn to love in a way that is generous, without seeking anything in return. It's said that through this practice, the heart grows vast and resilient, capable of holding both love and freedom. Imagine this transformation. Arguments soften, misunderstandings dissolve, and in their place, a deep sense of harmony and genuine connection blooms. The ancient practice of metta turns relationships into spaces of growth and joy, not just for you, but for everyone whose life you touch. Letting go sounds simple, almost cliché, but in the realm of love, it's a concept that challenges our deepest fears and instincts. Imagine loving someone so fully, so sincerely, that your joy doesn't depend on their presence, approval, or reciprocation. It's a radical idea, isn't it? The world tells us that love means grasping, keeping, holding close. But in the teachings of Buddhism, true love is like holding sand in your palm, not clenching, but letting it rest gently, allowing each grain to stay or slip away as it will. This idea flips our understanding of love on its head. Instead of ownership, we find a profound peace in release, a joy not in possessing, but in witnessing and appreciating. It's a shift that asks, can you love enough to set someone free? This is where real freedom begins, not just for them, but for you. Letting go doesn't mean turning cold or indifferent. It's not a process of removing emotions or detaching entirely from a partner. It's about refining the way we engage with our love, detaching from the ego's need to control. The first step is awareness, catching that moment when a loving feeling crosses into possessiveness or fear. Visualize that emotion like a wave. It swells, peaks, and if allowed, it will recede. Breathe into it, allowing it to exist without taking over. The next step is acceptance, acknowledging that no person can be the center of your universe. They are not yours to own, just as you are not theirs. And then comes compassion, both for yourself and for them. Understanding that love, at its truest, is a gift, not a contract. These steps help us shift from needing to share a life to choosing to share a moment. It is the essence of love without attachment, a love that liberates rather than binds. Here lies the mystery. How does releasing attachment make love deeper, more profound? The answer is as counterintuitive as it is beautiful. By letting go, we allow love to become what it was always meant to be, free and unconditional. Picture two hands reaching out, fingers brushing yet not gripping. In that gentle space lies room to breathe, grow, and discover. The paradox is this: in freeing someone from your grasp, they are more likely to lean in, not because they have to, but because they want to. The space between two people becomes a sacred place, full of choice and trust. It is in that space that the most authentic, resilient connections form. Letting go is not about diminishing love. It's about protecting it, nurturing it, so that it thrives on respect and mutual joy rather than fear and expectation. The profound secret here is that letting go invites others to stay, not because they're bound, but because they're drawn by the freedom you've offered. This, perhaps, is the ultimate irony. By loosening your hold, you create an unbreakable bond, one built not on need, but on a shared willingness to simply be, side by side, whole in your own right. And that is where peace and love truly reside. Picture this. A couple stands at the crossroads of a fight, tension crackling between them like an electric storm. In that moment, what if the answer wasn't about who wins or who yields, but about the sheer act of wishing happiness for the other? This is metta, loving kindness. Rooted deeply in Buddhist practice, metta teaches us to hold the wish for another's well-being as paramount, even when emotions flare. Imagine a love where you prioritize their happiness without expecting anything in return. The suspense lies in this realization. What if loving without expectation is the secret to a profound connection? This concept shakes the very foundation of relationships built on give and take. By incorporating metta, relationships evolve from a transactional existence to a space where love flows freely, unshackled by the chains of conditions. Now, let's delve deeper, past the surface of joy and into the darker waters of shared suffering. Compassion, or karuna, beckons us to stay present even when shadows creep in. Picture your partner facing a moment of pain, whether it's a career setback, personal loss, or a self-esteem battle. What if, instead of recoiling or merely offering empty words, you understood their suffering and sat beside them, carrying a piece of that weight? Compassion turns love into a fortress where the walls are built not of stone, but of shared empathy. This idea might sound simple, but here's the twist. How many relationships falter when faced with adversity because compassion is absent? The realization that true love is not just shared joy, but shared suffering, can be as illuminating as it is unsettling. Then there's the bright light of mudita, sympathetic joy. It's easy to cheer for someone we don't know well, but what about celebrating our partner's triumphs when they outshine our own? Mudita demands that we not only join in their joy, but do so without the slightest twinge of envy. Picture a couple where one partner's career soars while the other's stagnates. Can they look into each other's eyes, one with elation and the other with genuine pride? This is the challenge that mudita poses. It shatters the narrative of love riddled with hidden rivalries and resentment. The suspense here is palpable. Can a relationship survive if one partner rises while the other feels left behind? Mudita says yes, but only if the heart is capable of truly celebrating another's happiness without reservations. Finally, we reach upekkha, equanimity, the still center of the storm. Life and love are chaotic. They rise and fall like relentless tides. But what if you could find an anchor, a place of unshakable peace, no matter what comes? Upekkha teaches us to maintain balance and see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. Imagine an argument that would usually send tempers flaring. With equanimity, it becomes a moment to step back, breathe, and respond with clarity. The suspense lies in this quiet revelation. How many relationships could survive the tumult of life if only partners practiced upekkha? The calm between two lovers, unshaken by disappointment or fleeting joy, forms a love that isn't just enduring, it's eternal. In embracing the four immeasurables, relationships transform from fragile, fleeting bonds to resilient connections rooted in true understanding, compassion, joy, and peace. The journey is not without its trials, but the outcome is love that transcends the ordinary and steps into the realm of the profound. Picture this. You're in the midst of a busy day, emotions running high, and someone you love says or does something that strikes a nerve. The immediate urge is to react, defend, or cling to an idealized version of the moment. But what if, instead, you could take a breath, center yourself, and respond with compassion, not out of attachment, but out of pure understanding? This is where the practice of non-attached love begins. To cultivate this, try a simple exercise. Pause during moments of tension, close your eyes, and silently recite, "I wish for your happiness, even if it does not involve me." It's an exercise not just in thought, but in transformation, rewiring your mind to love without needing control or assurance. The practice may feel foreign at first, almost unsettling, but it has the power to shift the very nature of your relationships. Can this act of pause and wish really change how we love? The results, as you will see, speak for themselves. Meet Maya, a devoted partner who once felt the familiar pangs of fear whenever her significant other spoke of their dreams that didn't include her. The fear gnawed at her, the whispers of insecurity telling her she'd be left behind, forgotten. But Maya wasn't willing to let this cycle continue. Inspired by the teachings of Buddhist masters, she committed to letting go, one deliberate step at a time. She learned to separate her happiness from control, releasing her partner from silent expectations. The change was subtle at first, a deep breath instead of an argument, a smile instead of a plea. One day, when her partner shared a new plan that would take him overseas, Maya felt something remarkable, a sense of joy for him, untainted by fear for herself. Their relationship grew stronger, paradoxically, because she no longer clutched it with white-knuckled attachment. What did Maya discover? That letting go is not the end. It's the start of a more authentic love. Her story is a testament to how embracing non-attachment can deepen, not dilute, connection. Balancing love and independence isn't an art reserved for a chosen few. It's a discipline that anyone can master. One crucial tip is setting aside time to nurture your individual passions. Imagine dedicating one evening a week purely to yourself. Whether that means diving into a creative project, engaging in mindful meditation, or even exploring new skills. This isn't just about preserving your identity. It's about fueling your relationship with the energy of self-fulfillment. Equally important is fostering open communication, where partners celebrate each other's victories, big and small, without inserting themselves into the narrative. For instance, when your partner shares an achievement, pause and offer genuine joy, resisting the instinct to link it to yourself. It may seem like a small gesture, but over time it carves out space for both closeness and individuality. Can this equilibrium hold in moments of crisis, or is it just an ideal? The stories of those who have walked this path suggest that balance, once found, is a source of resilience in love, allowing it to grow freely without suffocation. Each of these practices serves as a powerful reminder. Love doesn't mean possession, and letting go doesn't signify detachment. It means embracing life and those we care for without the chains of expectation. Imagine two people in a relationship, one clinging desperately to the idea that their partner completes them, the other embracing love with open hands, knowing that love is most powerful when it is free. The difference in their experiences is profound. Loving without attachment doesn't mean loving less. It means loving more deeply, more freely, and more selflessly. When you approach a relationship with non-attachment, the love you share becomes a space where both partners can grow and flourish. This practice reduces fear and dependency, replacing them with trust, respect, and genuine support. The absence of suffocating need creates a bond that isn't burdened by the pressure to be perfect, allowing relationships to become more authentic and resilient. But why does this work? The answer lies in Buddhism's unique perspective on the nature of love and freedom. The benefits of practicing non-attachment ripple far beyond romantic relationships. Imagine stepping into your day without the gnawing anxiety of losing what you hold dear. Non-attachment transforms how you view not just your partner, but every aspect of life: friends, family, career, and even your passions. It cultivates a peace that allows you to experience love without strings, where the joys are embraced and the pains accepted without fear. The practice rewires your mindset from one of scarcity and dependence to one of abundance and contentment. This shift brings an unshakable calm, one that stays with you even when life throws its inevitable curveballs. You see, it's not about denying your emotions or distancing yourself. It's about anchoring your happiness to something unchanging, your inner peace. But while this may sound idyllic, putting it into practice brings its own set of challenges.